Good day, beautiful people, and welcome to Mentorship Mondays. It's the final Youth Month edition of Mentorship Mondays, and today we have with us the great Tshepo Nkoe, and he's going to share with us the importance of upskilling and reskilling in technology for your business. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember, if you're watching us on YouTube, to like and subscribe to the video. And without further ado, Tshepo, over to you, brother.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Brandon. I'm really honored to be invited at this really great platform. I know YIEDI has helped me a lot with my business development through the competition that I entered with IBM in the past. It really helped me with my upskilling in terms of business, and as a result, I started thinking in that way as a leader. So I'm going to share my screen with you and just speak a bit about myself and a little intro. I am Tshepo Nkoe, and I have taught at the University of Sydney. I have taught at the University of California and the University of Toronto. What do I teach? I teach cybersecurity. And this presentation is going to take you on a journey of how I moved from the skill that I was proficient in, which was working for me before COVID, to upskilling in cybersecurity and other skills that we'll get into. So the title of today's presentation is Upskilling and High Skilling in the Tech Economy. And this is powered by YIEDI, X, and Rinku. I hope I'm pronouncing everything well. So yeah, this is a picture of me and with some robotic arms, and these are part of the high-tech equipment and technologies. These are going to replace human hands because this used to be done by a person. So the next slide is an eagle, and that's what I want us to think of ourselves as eagles. This is an eagle in the city, and we are in the city. You might be in New York, you might be in Sandton, you might be in Polokwane, whichever city you are in. I want you to position yourself as an eagle that sometimes needs to go up to a high altitude, sharpen its beak, and come back and dominate. So here we have the digital economy, right? What is the digital economy? I think you guys are well acquainted with that term, but is no longer in the future. It is the present, and those who fail to prepare for it are already left behind. So, what to do then? You need to upskill and reskill. So, I'm going to walk you through what's the difference between upskilling versus high skilling. I'll give you real world examples from Africa and beyond being the globe, and how to position yourself or your team for success in a rapidly digitizing world. So here are some of the skills that fall under uh, basic skilling. You could be proficient in Excel, which is going to help you make spreadsheets, which is really crucial in this digital age. Google Workspace, make yourself acquainted with that. Um, Digital communication tools like Zoom, we are facilitating this, gaining access to the rest of the world using Zoom. This is a technology, whether you're in education. I know I teach at the University of California, right in the comfort of my home using Zoom, and tools like Slack that have third-party integration into a plethora of other softwares. There's Microsoft Teams, and another skill is cloud storage. How do you save your information so that it's accessible to everyone in the world? That could be using Google Drive, OneDrive, and the list is endless of cloud providers. Data literacy basics like creating dashboards. You could create pattern recognition. You do basic analytics. I'll get into a deep dive on how to do this later. Cyber hygiene. I know someone is wondering how cyber hygiene, wait until you're the reason why there's a breach, a cyber breach in your organization, then you'll know that I really needed to learn how to do like two-factor authentication and how to avoid phishing simulations and how to actually make strong password. So get used to or acquainted with CRM basics, your Salesforce, there's many, and use of online learning platforms to upskill. Platforms like Coursera offer 7 days of free trial. You can study any course in the world, 7 days. And if you are relentless like me, and once you put your mind to something, there's no stopping you, you can literally finish your course in 7 days. Um, your LinkedIn has now upskilled and reskilled and included education into its platform. So it's not just a platform where we connect as professionals. They have seen the gap and they've capitalized. So that's like just an example of how people and organizations are saying, hey, how are we going to survive this rapid digital economy that's changing ever so rapidly? This is how you do it. And I think something that's overlooked a lot is networking with people and maintaining good relations. Like I've maintained good relations with Brandon, and I follow him, he follows me, and look, now I'm here because of networking. And I think Mr. York, with the previous presentation, mentioned something about building good relationships. So now let's get into the meat. Which is what I'm passionate about, these high-tech skills. Cybersecurity being one of them. I mentioned that I teach in cybersecurity, blockchain. Blockchain is just ensuring that everything is, it's the backrock or bedrock of all these new technologies like your blockchain. It's what do they call this currency? I'll tell you now, the one you guys love the most. I want it to be interactive, but it's called, I think, Brandon, what's that? What's the new digital currency that people really, really are jumping onto? Bitcoin. Oh man,
Yeah.
how could I forget Bitcoin? Yeah, Bitcoin, Ethereum is one of them. I create Ethereum and AI and ML, which is artificial intelligence and machine learning. You can learn how that works, how to create it yourself. I know here in South Africa, we've created our own AI and others will still come. AI platforms like, I think they call it Kaya. Yeah, smart infrastructure, which is your smart cities and the rest. Renewable energy, which is a problem in South Africa. We need more renewable energy technologies to harness either solar or hydro. Aerospace, which is creating your satellites so that we can have encrypted communication. Agri IoT, so that you can use drones to either irrigate your farm or to have sensors there. That there's so many things that you could do. Quantum, I know Elon Musk, who comes from South Africa, has built Neuralink, which some people might say, oh, that's too much. But there are other forms of nanotechnology where people put chips into livestock and it helps them monitor their health. It tracks them and so that they don't get lost. Robotics, like I showed you in the first picture, was a robotic arm that companies are actually using. So I know, let me give you an example. Amazon was having a lot of employees. I think it was employing almost 30% of the American uh, workforce, and people would complain, I've got a backache. They'd complain different sorts of complaints. And guess what they did? They had these robots that lift weight, they take the containers, they do everything. They've fully automated. It's called business process automation, which is something you can also study. And as a result, you can imagine 30% of the people lose their jobs. So do you want to be at the, oh man, I could have, or do you want to just say that I'm not going to fight this change? The best thing I should do is equip myself with upskilling, reskilling to position myself and my family to be in a better place in the future, because you don't want to be like somebody who knew about electricity, for an example, and you still wanted to stay with fire. Let's go with electricity. This is what's there. And it hasn't harmed the world. In fact, we are using electricity very well to even communicate now. So the main thing that I want you to leave with this slide is that upskilling keeps you employed, but high skilling makes you globally a global asset and indispensable in some way if you know these skills now. Okay, I hope I'm not too fast and you're able to digest all that I'm saying. I'm going to give you some global examples of high skills and their impact. There's Airbnb, which is now also in South Africa. What they did is that they reskilled their staff in AI and data analytics during the pandemic to improve personalization, automate customer support, and optimize pricing algorithms. What happened? It boosted user retention and operational efficiency post COVID, and now everyone is using Airbnb. Amazon, I mentioned them earlier, so I'm not going to go over them again. Microsoft, it partnered with LinkedIn. I mentioned that to offer free certification programs in all the skills that I mentioned before. And as a result, they've survived and they have thrived now. They are making way more money. It's automated. The teachers, they come like this, they record everything for 6 months, and he's on leave for the, and he's going to be earning royalties, and it's really secure income. There's Tata, that's from India, consultancy services. They used its Elevate program to high skill employees in quantum computing. Like I mentioned, it's not hearing about a topic and saying, oh my, AI is going to replace us, and having a really pessimistic attitude to things that are inevitable. It's just, oh, this is what's happening. I'm running there. And DevSecOps, which is development, security operations. Just I think in the past, what used to happen is that people would rush to creating websites so that they can connect with their customers. But what has happened is that there are so many data breaches, so many hacks, that something like DevSecOps has become very in demand. So how to secure a program, a website in its entire life cycle, from inception where you ideate, this is the kind of solution we want, all the way to the end where people are using it, so that you don't become a person who's hacked and you leak people's data. As a result, it increased Tata's enterprise innovation and retention in global tech contracts. So you maintain your customers, your high-paying clients, they still support you, and you don't lose business and close down. Alibaba Cloud, which is Chinese, they launched the Apsara Academy to reskill entrepreneurs and developers in cloud native computing, AI, and e-commerce security. The result, Alibaba grew developer its developer base and increased adoption. And I'm sure you have some sort of subsidiary of Alibaba, whether I won't mention the names now. So it's all good talking about what's happening in the rest of the globe. Just give us some local examples so we can compete. Although I do believe that as a South African, you can really be the best. We've got the best sports in the world. All the best sports people are from South Africa. We've got Trevor Noah. So there's nothing that really should be in your mind that tells you that you are inferior to any other nation. In fact, we which is my purpose and aim, is to restore Africa as the cradle of innovation. Just like we did with the pyramids in Sudan and Egypt, the maths and science that was there is still being studied now. So if we can position ourselves as eagles to pioneer change, to lead it, then we'll be in a better position as South Africa. And we won't struggle with that 67 or 34%, I think, for the overall 34% unemployment. And with the youth in South Africa, I think it's 67. So it's really, really, really bad. So the first company is Andela. It's Nigerian based. It trained developers in full stack, cloud computing, and DevOps, placed talent in top global firms like GitHub, Google, Microsoft. And guess what? The result, it achieved unicorn status. It's now worth $1.5 billion dollars just by making up their mind. This is what we're doing. We're going to give these top companies, people, their workforce, and now they're making so much money by strategically positioning themselves. Trigger Foods, it's in Kenya. Uh, it digitized agriculture supply chain using mobile tech and blockchain. Like I mentioned there with the blockchain, you see it's being used in farming, to, let me give you an example, QR code to trace all your produce. So if it's moving from South Africa, it's going to China, you know where it is, you know how much they're paying for it, it's all tracked. If the supplier spots, like maybe this is bad stock, you know what number it is. And what did that enable? Um, Real-time ordering, inventory tracking for vendors and farmers. The result, $100 million. That's the money. Serves over 8,000 vendors across East Africa, just Kenya alone, you see. And my company, which is Msebenzi Solutions, I can't leave myself behind. It transitioned during COVID from tech sales to cybersecurity and blockchain consulting. I built SOC dashboards, AI simulation tools. I launched an ethical hacking training book. And as a result, I was appointed as an instructor at the best online education platform, edX. Um, I have now taught at University of Sydney. I teach people who don't have a clue, who are transitioning from Target or whichever organization, all the way to expert. Now they are cybersecurity experts. They are working in Sydney, and University of Sydney is number one in Australia. And the University of Minnesota, which I just recently concluded, where Target, I think it's a retailer, one of the largest retailers in America, it sent their employees to us. I taught them. After teaching them, they're unstoppable. And I've won some awards. I've won blockchain bronze medal in Shanghai. And yeah, it's really expanded my international consulting business. Another one is Information Technology Institute, which is based in India. It did national upskilling and offering certifications in cybersecurity, data analysis, robotics. As a result of being pragmatic, going in when the opportunity is still there, it partnered with IBM, Cisco, and Microsoft to align with industry demands. As a result, over 250,000 Egyptians trained and placed in local and global tech roles. So, okay, Tshepo, I hear all those things, they sound nice. I'm going to make millions, but how do I start, Because all those people had to reskill and upskill. Some of the certificates you can take, cybersecurity certification, you can try platforms like Try Hack Me, which is totally free. You can try Splunk, which is used in almost all big companies here in South Africa. It's a events management system that really handles all the operations of an organization. Blockchain, you can study that. Here are some of the things you would need to know. And then AI and machine learning, data science, here are the some of the places that offer those certificates. I recently completed my data science with IBM on Coursera, and it was very nice. So, as part of this, I am giving away my book, which can help you learn cybersecurity. Job platforms, some people don't know, but Upwork is buzzing. It's really the proper remote place to get work. I've listed some others. Hackathon events, I do invite you guys to participate in BRICS Future Skills competition. They take the best of Russia, China, India, Egypt, all those places, all those professionals, the best at the university, put them all in one room, they compete. And I've won medals there. Communities join these platforms here. And closing, so I don't take too long. Let me see the time, or 23 minutes. Don't just adapt to change, be the reason it happens. So pioneer, don't like wait until someone else has done it so that you can give yourself approval of getting into a space. No, get there. There's no path, trailblaze. Questions you might have, you guys just let me know and let's get into the discussion. Thank you, Mr. Brandon.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Tshepo. That was fantastic. There were so many things that you said there. And on the line today, I'm gonna pick on some of our participants because I know them and I know their businesses. So thank you guys so much for joining us. As we have Catherine Calais and Lundiwe on the line, all of which, by the way, Tshepo, all these ladies that are on the line with us, they have scalable businesses, businesses that are, you know, building and growing in success. And through what you've been speaking about, through digital transformation and upskilling and high skilling, it's so important to drive that through the organization, right? And we really need to drive that through the organization. So I'm going to open it up to the floor. And ladies, please unmute or raise your hands. You definitely should have some questions for Tshepo, especially with the businesses that you're running in terms of, the automation of your processes. So I'm going to leave it to you, ladies. Anyone with the question, you can type it in the chat or you can raise your hand and unmute. Can we maybe hear from Calais or Londiwe? I know Londiwe, so just to give you some context, Tshepo Londiwe has a energy business, Sibanesihle Energy, and her business is scaling and it's doing very, very well. So, Londiwe, if you are with us, I'd love for you to jump in on the conversation.
Hi guys. So sorry. There was a bit of time where I wasn't actually distracted, where I was distracted by my bank. I won't say which bank it is. I'm having a situation with them. But being in the energy business, I think from my side, I'm not very tech savvy on much except basics. So, Tshepo was talking about cyber security and AI and stuff. The only AI that I use is just the normal prompts that you put into AI and get it to if you're doing presentations and stuff. But I don't know. From my side, I think where I would like to scale up is on the LPG business, which is the gas business, and we have like shops. We were thinking a lot in terms of to automize a lot of our processes because a lot of it is very manual, just to try and save on some costs that we incur quite a lot in terms of theft, in terms of, staff members doing things that they shouldn't be doing. So I don't know. I don't know if that has anything probably to do with cybersecurity and AI in a way.
I think it's a really good point that you're bringing up and really good business that you're into. And I like that you are saying that you would like to automate, which is the essence of this conversation,
Yeah,
process automation so that
yes.
you are able to scale more, have less errors, and have an overview of your entire organization. So I would implore you to research on digital twin. So digital,
Twin.
tw- yeah, digital twin. Digital twin
Okay.
is a is I'm actually selling it here in South Africa. I'm the sole supplier of digital twin technologies. What they do
Mm-hmm.
is that they take your business, they simulate it into a digital environment, right? And
Yeah.
then you are able to see, let's give you an example of a mine. You're able to see how many what do they call these trucks? The LP something. You're able to see all the trucks. You're able to see all the workers. You're able to see your whole plant. It does a simulation of your entire plant, and it
Mm-hmm.
connects to the tractors. So all the way from, let's say, South Africa, you can be controlling a truck in Congo without, and that's
Okay.
what's happening now as we speak. The mines in South Africa now are being controlled by a person who's in Germany. He's not there.
Oh,
The truck is moving on its own. And that's what's actually happening now. There are autonomous trucks that do scaffolding, they extract raw materials. The person is not here, they're in Shanghai. So you can imagine if there are maybe 10 of those, and you're the person who's sitting at home, that skill. And that's what this thing is about, understanding and knowing
oh,
that skill that is required for you to be at home controlling trucks.
okay.
So when the industry changes and maybe truck people are being replaced, you won't stand the chance of being replaced because that skill. You're working from home, there's less injury, you won't sue the company, you're all the way at
Mm.
home, you're controlling the thing. You know how many employees are there. When they come into your site, they get a QR code, it scans them, it shows them as a 3D human working on the site, extracting, how many tons he pulled out, so that's the kind of thinking that's going to unlock and then just automate your business so that it's not you manually typing everything. Oh, okay, we got
Yeah.
20 kg now. Now we are sending it to this guy. Now we are sending it to that guy. Everything is automated. You just sit from the comfort of your home and things are automated.
I love that. I must say, I love that. Um, so I think from my side, I think I will have to have a conversation with you, a consultation with you, as you are saying. So I'll look into the digital twin, and then I will probably, Brandon, you can give us some details for Tshepo. I will
Absolutely.
request for an appointment, probably a virtual one, so that he can understand my business more. Obviously, we pay for all these things, and
Awesome.
that's
Yeah. And I've
the
Yes,
put
and
it, yeah.
consultation. Yeah.
so Tshepo has put it into the chat as well. So if there's anybody else on the call that would like to explore the tool he was just talking about, then please do. And Londiwe, yes, thank you. But also, definitely ask other questions, as we go through this conversation. I see Catherine has switched on a video. Catherine, do you have a question for us?
No, I think I did by mistake. I
All
just
right.
listened.
All
Sorry.
right,
Yeah.
no problem. But Zeppo, I wanna touch on, some of the stuff that you spoke about. And Londiwe Kale, if this applies to your business, then please let's get talking about it and let's extract as much as we can out of Zeppo while we have him here. But you were speaking
Yeah.
earlier, upskilling and how we need to use stuff like cloud storage in our businesses. And I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs, or I've seen the issue with entrepreneurs when it comes to the digitization of their business. and moving things onto the cloud, sometimes the importance of the cloud isn't understood. So can you run us through why it's important to have cloud and to have the access to data instantaneously? Because sometimes entrepreneurs don't understand why we need to have that data grouped onto the cloud, especially in the process of scaling.
I think it's such an awesome question, and it's really relevant to what I am good at. I'll tell you an example of why cloud or digitization of workflows is important. In 2014, I started a project which is digitizing hospital workflows with my company. What we did is that we worked with the local provincial Department of Health, which is the Limpopo Provincial Department of Health, with the Director General there. We created uh, automation of the entire process, digitization. We then went to CSIR, we got it approved, and then it was approved by the National Department of Health. As what were we doing? What was the most important thing? Why am I mentioning it with cloud security? All the time, patients would come to hospitals, they would lose their files. You come tomorrow, the file is not there. There are endless examples. You also know of someone who gets there. Maybe they have been in an accident. The doctor checked them this week. Next week, he doesn't remember. He doesn't know the file. Let's start again. He might even be giving you an overdose. Introducing new problems to your life because there's no file, you know. So now we just said, let's do away with all of this. We are digitizing the entire hospital system. We are connecting all the hospitals in South Africa to one place, which is going to go into the NHI, right? What that has done is that there's credibility, doctors are connected, there's like a continuation, you know, the integrity, which is the basis of cybersecurity. It's based on the three things, right? It's called a CIA triad. You will research, because I don't want to give you everything and then you go away, you know, you don't research on anything, but it's called the CIA triad. I'll give you integrity's I, and availability is the A, right? And then C is confidentiality. So how is the how is the integrity of what we're doing? Are we giving people the right medication that they needed, or are we just coming up with things? Is it available? When I need this record of this patient, is it there? Or am I just now starting from scratch, opening a new file every single time? The warehouse is full of files. There's no continuity. Confidentiality is there security in the cloud for that file so that nobody just accesses that file and steals your personal information. So that's just an example in healthcare of how cloud security is so important. If an office burns down, all the files are gone. You know, so if you don't know how to migrate to cloud, hire someone, go on a course. This is the premise of what we are talking about. Upskill on how can I do cloud security, cloud computing is the name. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks, Tshepo. And I love that you're using a real life example, and I really want to pull one of the businesses into the conversation because I think it really applies to her business, and that's Calais. And Calais runs a recruiting company. And, in the case of a recruiting company, I see Calais has unmuted. So please, Calais, introduce yourself, introduce your business, and, tell us if you use any cloud tools. And Tshepo, based on the context of her business, please, if you have any advice, share with Calais. Calais?
Thanks, Brendan. Hi, Tshepo. Thanks for a really insightful presentation. I love the concept of the eagle that you started your presentation off on. It was really, really good. So I do recruitment and I also do career coaching. The main reason I joined this call was really to get an idea of the global economic trends. in terms of the tech space. And that's really just for me to help my candidates when I'm doing career coaching. Just to give them some guidelines in terms of what the global economic trends are, which I think you've covered quite a bit of that. So thank you very much for that. Is there anything else I could possibly assist my candidates with? I mean, you've mentioned the unemployment rate in South Africa, which is really high at the moment. It's actually quite scary. So, I mean, are there any other tips that I could assist my candidates or the guys that I'm coaching in terms of career coaching with?
Wow, you're doing such an important job. Like this is the premise of reducing such a really, really bad thing that's happened into our country. That's going to increase the crime rate. That's going to make sure that even if you're working comfortable, somebody's there hungry for what you have and they've not worked for it. So if I were you, Akale, what I would do is that not only would I offer people opportunities to get jobs, but I would also get into training them. I don't need to be the person who's training them. I know Tshepo, who's doing cybersecurity. I've got a curriculum. You know, Brandon, who's doing business coaching. That's a curriculum. You have all these curriculums that these people create. You create a dashboard. That dashboard is there, and it's the company that I mentioned here, this Nigerian company. What they did is that they created a platform. They listed all the companies, the big companies that they would like to send people to, but not only just take them there and connect them based on their skill, but find ways that you get professionals that can train them, and then now you get into the SETA space. Once you're in the SETA space, now government can fund you. Say, hey, not only are you sending these people to Microsoft or wherever, but hey, let's pay for every single student that you're training. That way, you're getting money. Let's say the government pays you 7,000 per student. You've got 100,000 students. You're a millionaire. And the platform, all the lectures are fully automated. So Tshepo, record all your material for maybe 6 months course. You take 3 weeks recording Tshepo. He does all these things. And then you put it on your platform. You put security there so that when he finishes chapter 1, he then gets to chapter 2. What have you done? You've positioned yourself in creating a platform, and that's what Americans kill it at. They won't go into the nitty gritties. I create you an environment. You're creating an environment where people are going to be trained, they're going to be placed, and you're going to nurture them and take care of them once they're in that place. So if somebody says, oh, I'm at this place, I'm not enjoying, hey, let's put you here. You've got all the connects. You're the plug. You've become the one-stop shop, because the worst thing you'd want is for someone else to come in and do the training and then you send them somewhere else. So be the one-stop shop. Contact all the people that you see on LinkedIn that are educators, create a curriculum. Let's put it on my platform. I get what do you call this? Rights to your material so that I can distribute it in video format. I can do anything, and then we co-own. You go to these big companies like Coursera, whatever. You say, hey, people in South Africa really love this. In Africa, it's worth 7 million now. But if we jump and you partner with us, we're looking at $7 million. You've already maximized it by 20%. I think it's 1 rand, $1 is 20 or 19. So can you imagine if it's 7 million, how much are you making?
Thanks for that, Tshepo. I really like the idea, and it also it aligns with our values, our value proposition of upskilling, developing people, and helping them, really making an impact. So that's such a good idea. What I'm going to do is definitely connect with you. Maybe we can have a one-on-one. I'll get your details from Brendan, And yeah, we could take this conversation further.
Yeah, totally. And everything is, I love practical.
Mm.
Tomorrow we talk. Next week we have a list of the professionals.
Mm.
The other week we have all the course material that we're going to do. By August, something is gonna give. Something has to happen because a lot of ideas go to the grave. And if you can set up this thing properly, your daughter, your son, no one in your family will ever need a job because you've created something really special and they are multimillionaires in dollars. So I urge you, like, really just tonight, don't sleep on it. Have ChatGPT give you the blueprint. This is how we're going to do everything, and then run like an eagle.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for that, Tshepo. Very
Awesome.
informative. Thank you.
Amazing. That was superb. That was lovely. And I love the ideas that are coming out of this conversation and the practicality that we're using according to the business. I see that there's two new people that have joined us, Denise and Sharon. Just to let you guys know, we're speaking about cybersecurity and the upskilling and reskilling of technology in businesses and in the actual teams that run our businesses. So thank you for joining. If you guys have any questions, you're welcome to put it in the chat or just raise your hand and unmute and ask the question. If you have a question about your business, for example, that you want to ask Tshepo, that's specific to your business or you want to understand a specific solution, then please do not be afraid and please get involved in the conversation. As you can hear from what Kale has said, the conversation is really engaging and we're really taking a lot from Tshepo already. Tshepo, while I have you, I just want to ask you, there's this misconception that because AI learns from us, that AI is machine learning. Can you separate the difference between AI versus ML, which is machine learning? And why is it important for us to understand those concepts in our businesses as entrepreneurs? Because is it something that we should pay attention to for the future? Because a lot of our entrepreneurs right now in this day and age are using or actively using AI, using the likes of ChatGPT or other prompt AIs, specifically, within content creation and reasoning. So is there is the fundamental difference between AI and machine learning important for entrepreneurs to understand, or is it a tool that we can just implement or should implement via third party into our businesses?
I love that. So I'm going to break it down because you mentioned what's the difference between AI and machine learning, right? So AI is taught by you through your prompts. It becomes, it customizes itself towards your prompts. So if my AI now, my ChatGPT already knows my tone, it already knows my line of thought, the organizations I've been a part of, and it's customized to my liking. That uses machine learning. I'm gonna go deeper, right, so that you can like really get the crux of how this technology works. If you don't have an employee, AI is your first employee. You do not need to hire a developer. That's what I did. I used to have really, really great trust for people. I'd give them my IP, go create this with me. Guess what happens? The guy steals it. He goes, he runs with it. But AI won't do that. AI is not going to steal from me. So I'm going to give AI. AI is going to give me the entire code. I'm going to assess the code. And then I'm going to ask it all the questions. I'm enhancing my novelty, which is really important when you're creating a patent or copyright. I'm not going to create myself unnecessary competitors. So I don't need to make people sign NDAs, non-competes, and all of that. So AI should be used because it is an employee, right? It uses machine learning. And if you're an organization, this is the second part of your question. If you're an organization, should you use third-party softwares like ChatGPT? This is information that I'm going to share with you the first time I'm making it public because it's my cash cow. AI can operate offline. This is something people don't know. You don't need, you can set it up in a way that it doesn't connect to the internet. It becomes a model that sits on your computer. It learns your organization like ChatGPT, DeepSeek, all these AIs that we know. You download it, you train it based on your organization. Like I'm in recruitment, I deal with sensitive clients, like what Kale mentioned, or I'm in energy. I don't want ChatGPT knowing that I'm going to become a millionaire and then tomorrow I'm being investigated because, or someone else is sharing my proposal, because there's some controls and settings that you need to set up in ChatGPT so that it doesn't share your conversations with the internet, right? So people don't know that. They just write everything on ChatGPT. Then if you said, okay, I want to do Mentorship Monday, I want a proposal. If I go to ChatGPT now and I say, give me a proposal for Mentorship Mondays, it's going to tell me everything you said. So if you don't adjust that setting, you risk that, right? How to avoid that? Have a sandboxed environment where your ChatGPT is working offline. It doesn't connect to the internet. And I do that for companies, banks, anyone who wants it. You can have AI. It's the same exact thing, but it's just not leaking to third party thing. And it was actually my research topic when I was studying one of these free courses at Harvard. So how third party integration into AI makes vulnerabilities and how organizations are saying, I don't want to use that. But what are you doing? People are using AI and they're going to outsmart you. So just find the best way that is safe to use it in your organization. I think you're on mute, Brandon.
Yeah, so if you can see me on the screen, this is what's happening to me right now. My mind is blown. Thank you so much for that, Tshepo. I did not know that. I think that I didn't really properly look at the dangers of it, and I think we all need to just take a real look at how we use ChatGPT and how we use AI in our businesses. And thank you so much for that tip. I think we'll definitely take it from there. We have a comment in the chat from Sharon, and she says, "I ran a Black forum called Black Woman in Sustainable Business and a training skills group national team of 30 companies, an indigenous tourism group, African diaspora, indigenous tourism association. How do I combine and allowing these to create financial streams?" Her network's bad and she's taken down your email. So basically, Sharon is not able to unmute and speak. But based on what she said, Tshepo, what advice can you offer her?
I think she's in tourism and she does sustainable business and training skills group. She has 30 companies, indigenous tourism. Awesome. So like you bring people who are tourists, they come here, they see indigenous places. I know there are like really good places in South Africa. And how do I combine and allow them to create financial streams? Well, I think with this context, you'd have to create a dashboard, a platform that just maybe if you're like really want to go really far and set yourself up in the future tech, you could create VR, virtual reality. So using that tool that I told you about, digital twin, you create a twin of these sites that you normally take people, Mapungube, Durban, wherever, cradle of humankind. You create a digital twin of all those monuments, the Kimberley, the whole. Once you create it, you put it in a virtual environment where people can put on glasses, VR glasses, and they can see that by joining your platform. So somebody could be in Canada, they are seeing Victoria waterfalls. They're immersed in that experience. There's like surround sound, everything, and they just paid you. So you could make sure that people still tour the country without actually needing to catch a visa, pay planes, need to come here. If they want to go to Kruger National Park, you could partner with Kruger National Parks and say that I want to create a virtual simulation of all the animals in here, partner with Lion King, say, hey, I'm going to be taking these people. Can Lion King endorse me? Um, Kruger National Park, Kruger National Park is on board. They've allowed me to take visuals of their animals. You sell that experience to people who have never come to South Africa. You market it under the Department of Tourism. You get them to jump on board. You create the subscription based. People are paying. You're making money. You're not waiting, because look what happened with the tourism sector during COVID. They literally just said shut down and you can't do nothing. You have a shop. I know one of the guys that was my friend. He used to take people from here. He was thriving. He was buying a car. He was buying a H1. He used to take people from South Africa. You take them to Mozambique for maybe a week or take them to wherever. And now they just told him close shop. 3 years, you're out. And that's so just make sure that you're always thinking, how can I take this into a way that even if I'm not there, people are still traveling the world? And then you move from Kruger National Park, you go to other countries, people in South Africa who want to tour Manhattan, and Google Earth is there. Google Earth, you can connect with Google Earth. When you put in Google Earth here, it shows you a satellite image real time of what's happening on that street as the back end of your program. So I think, let me not take too long, but I guess maybe you sort of get it.
No, absolutely. That was superb, man. The stuff that's coming out of this session is amazing. Thank you so much, Tshepo. We have a comment I just want to highlight as well while I have the chance. Londiwe says we have a lot of work to do. I've sent you the email already, Tshepo. I'm blown away. So Londiwe has sent you an email, so check your inbox for that, Tshepo. While we're about to close off, I just want to raise a few things in terms of business process automation, Tshepo. Are there any tools for the entrepreneurs watching on YouTube and the entrepreneurs in the room? Are there any tools that you know that will allow entrepreneurs to use them while bootstrapping? Now, we know the obvious ChatGPT, but I don't think before this call a lot of us knew that you could use it offline, or you could use AI offline for that capacity, so that sensitive information isn't leaked. So is there other, possible AI tools or business automation tools that we can find while bootstrapping? Like, how you mentioned Coursera, and if you really put your mind to it, in 7 days, you can finish your course on that free trial. So is there anything that you can suggest for us in terms of technology tools that we can use in our businesses and start implementing?
Yes, I mentioned one of them is a company I'm in partnership with. I've got a contract with them. It's called R Pro Digital. They are from Russia. They do digital twin. They automate your entire workflow. There's another one called C1 Enterprise. We just recently, under the work that I do, because I wear many hats, we partnered C1 with 1C, sorry, not C1, 1C Enterprise with UJ, with the University of Johannesburg, and under the course Business Process Automation. So 1C Enterprise does business process automation. Currently now, this year, for the first time ever, that course has been introduced with this partner company that we brought under this Brick Skills Development Working Group. So they cover all that, all those tools. But a platform you can use today that I would recommend and endorse is 1C Enterprise. It does full business process automation. I've put it in the chat. That's how you spell it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tshepo. We have a few minutes left, guys. So if there's any comments you would like to make, would love for you to unmute and find out. Denise, you've been rather quiet. Is there any questions or comments that you have? Kanyisile, your hand is up. Please go ahead.
Okay, hey everyone. So I don't have a business necessarily relating to this. So I'm going to relate it to Calais' business because I am doing my research on AI, the laws behind it, and how it's impacting the recruitment space. So what I want to find out is the protection of personal information on your platforms like Workday. So for example, if Calais were to use a third party provider, perhaps to make her recruitment services more efficient and the administrative part more quicker, which ones would you recommend to be the best? And if she were to work with an individual to create this platform for her, what would be the way to go about it in terms of relating it back to the Popeye Act, because it needs to protect the data of all the applicants that she works with?
Okay, awesome question. Thank you, Kanyisile. What you would need to do is, I think I mentioned this, sandbox the AI so that it's working offline. So the AI is on your computer hard drive. It's not in the cloud, connected in real time. So how are you mitigating against leaking? It's with you. The data is still with you. The data is not somewhere on the cloud. The data is on your hard drive. So you're not leaking any information. You can use anyone, ChatGPT, a DeepSeek. And if you want me to do that for you, I can do that for you. We come in, we understand your business, we choose the right AI, we put it offline, we put it in a sandboxed environment so that not everyone can access it. And then we store it safely. Then you can use it. It's going to do the same thing, but
So
there's,
would it
yeah,
be
there's,
similar to your Workday?
I do not know Workday.
Oh, okay. It's
What
more
does
of a
Workday do?
it's an AI system where you upload, where applicants upload their CVs, personal information, and it will then shortlist applicants on there for the business. So the business doesn't have to go through all the CVs.
Okay, so look, this is like when you're creating this dashboard, there's what we call open source. So all these companies that want people are open source. It's publicly accessible to everyone. So me scanning the internet for companies that are looking for people, there's nothing wrong with that, right? So uh, in terms of it searching, there's nothing wrong with that. It can search and then tell you that Tshepo needs to work at Microsoft because Microsoft has an opening. But Tshepo's information, when it's placed inside there, is not going to be on the cloud. Or how AI now enhances his CV. Like it realizes that Tshepo, maybe you should mention this, maybe you shouldn't mention this. Tailor your CV. Do you want me to send it to you as PDF or Word document? All that process is still working offline. And then what you do then is then you then connect to the internet and then you share the person. Another thing that helps with avoiding legal Popeye Act and all of that is that you sign consent forms. So people who come onto your platform, they sign a consent form. I will leave you with my data for 3 or 6 months while you are sharing my CV with whoever you want. And should I not get a job after 6 months, please just remove my data. I think in compliance standard, that's GDPR, which is in United Kingdom, General Data Protection Act. So yeah, here it's Papaya, but or Poppy. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Awesome. Awesome. And with that, we're gonna close. I'm gonna open up the room for any other questions, last final questions or any other comments. If there's anyone, you can raise your hand or pop it into the chat. Nothing for now. Tshepo, this has been absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. This has really opened up, I think, a lot of questions about businesses. Londiwe, I see that you've unmuted. Is there a question or something you'd like to
Sorry,
say?
Brendan. No, I was trying to Google the 1C enterprise and so many things are coming up. I just wanted to make sure of which one it is. So I was asking for a website.
I'm going to share my screen and show you.
Okay.
This is it. I hope it doesn't share. Do you see it?
But that's all from me.
Awesome. Okay, so there it is, guys.
Can't wait for the consultation.
Yeah, this is the business
Oh, it's
process
the correct
automation.
one that I had. Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
Yeah.
I think this is what I got.
Yeah, through BRICS, I want to credit them. BRICS Skills Development Working Group. They have brought this business process automation curriculum to the University of Johannesburg, and it's a huge banger. It's really helping students upskill and reskill. And by the way, I'm the secretary of the BRICS Business Council Skills Development Working Group.
Superb. I guess
Thank
now
you.
all of your medals and all of your accolades now make absolute sense, Tshepo. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone on the call. And if you join us on YouTube, again, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the video. As for Mentorship Mondays for the Youth Month of 2025, that's a wrap. So thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you have a lovely technical journey ahead. Goodbye.
Awesome.